In the interest of Kalia Olivas Romero, we are here today for our status hearing. We are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause and agreement of the parties. We're live streaming. How are things going?
Things are going well. I'll start out with saying that Kalea did come out of the harness at a medical appointment on Tuesday in Lubbock. Everything was a glowing report about the healing of her injuries. So no harness and no restrictions, and she's doing very, very well.
Right.
Mr. Koval, have service plans been developed in this case?
Yes, they have, and they have been filed with the court.
Okay, and did mother sign her service plan?
She did.
Okay, and then I noticed father has not signed his service plan. Have you made attempts to get it to him? Do you know where he is? What information do you have?
He has not signed his family plan, although I did meet with him and go over the family plan. He was actually picked up by immigration, and he is currently in custody on an immigration hold. My understanding is there was a court hearing that was scheduled for the 19th, but then it was moved to September 8th, to my understanding. He was placed in custody in Eden, Texas. To my understanding, that's where he still is. I don't know why the court hearing was rescheduled. And that's the extent of what I know about Mr. Romero.
Okay, but prior to him being picked up, you did have the opportunity to review the service plan.
Yes, I believe he was picked up within days or less than a week after I met with him.
Okay. Was there a reason he didn't sign it?
I don't know what the reason was. And it may have been because of the immigration hold. So I just really don't know.
Okay. I don't have any more questions, Judge.
Okay. All right, is mom started on her service plan?
She has.
Okay. All right, and she maintaining appropriate housing and transportation?
Yes.
Okay. Any specific orders that you're asking for today?
No specific orders today, Judge.
Okay. All right, then.
Other than to make the service plan an order of the court.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Riley.
Judge, we just have two, and I don't know if you want me to ask questions or just go ahead and the mother just has two issues. She's doing great, I think, on her services. She started everything she can. She's a little concerned because co-parenting said they wouldn't start her till October. So she's a little bit concerned that that's way out there and that might look like she's not trying to get it done. But she called and they wouldn't do it till then. In addition, though, we are just trying to see if there's a way that we can get longer visits with the baby, because right now I think she's due an hour and it's really difficult with just an hour time that we're trying to like feed or interact. Mom feels like time that, she's comfortable starting the door. So really just increase that. I believe that with children, Yes.
Hang on, you're breaking up real badly.
Oh, okay.
So,
Video go away.
Yeah, I was gonna say, turn your video off. Let's back
Okay.
up to basically back up. I mean, I understand she's asking for more time.
She would like some more time, yes, if possible, because the visits are short. She, I believe, was also told that the other kids could not be at visits. So we'd just like to see if that could be addressed. Because, of course, I think we want the other kids to be around her, but I know the harness might have been the issue. And then I think if you heard me on the co-parenting, I don't know if you heard that, Judge, did you?
Yeah, that it's not set till October,
Yes.
but, and of course, that may depend on what Mr. Romero's situation is too, at that time. I mean, there may not be any co-parenting that we can do if he's still in custody. So right now she's got an hour a week in person. Is that right, Mr. Koval?
That's correct.
Okay, and I know that normally with an infant, we give more time, but I think it was really restrictive because of the child's medical condition and we wanted her to be able to, heal and very extra care was being taken with her. So,
And also, Judge, there was the fact that, there was physical abuse that had occurred, and it was not clear who the perpetrator was.
right, right. And I assume we've got no more information or any more leads on that question.
Not that I am aware of, Judge.
Okay. All right, so before I make any decision, Ms. Riley, I want to hear from everybody and but we'll come back to your request. Do you have any other
Yep.
things?
No, Judge. No, Judge,
Okay.
those were the only issues. Thank you.
Okay, all right, we'll come back to it. All right then, Mr. Morales.
Yes, Judge, I'd like to inquire, it might be a moot issue, but Mr. Koval, I know the expedited home study was ordered. Did the department or did St. Francis get anywhere on that with my client?
Well, I did submit that, and it has been referred to Monty and Associates. But then we had the immigration hold.
Okay.
But then I was directed to tell Monty and Associates to continue with the home study because it was court ordered. The home still retains his girlfriend, and so the home study has been ordered to continue, even though Mr. Romero is not present there physically at the moment.
Okay, thank you for that update.
Mhm.
Judge, I was unaware of that he was picked up for immigration. That's obviously why I haven't been able to get hold of him. But I'll contact him. I'll see what his prospects are for if he plans on getting an immigration bond, what his prospects are for, long-term permanency, if he has any route to, residency or DACA or anything like that, and get an idea. I mean, with that being said, judges at the status hearing, him being I don't want to officially say a non-offending parent because I know St. Francis still probably doesn't agree. But I feel that given the time parameters, it's hard to call him a potentially offending parent. With that being said, I'd hate to give grounds for termination when he absolutely can't work a service plan if he's deported. So I'd hate for a service plan to be made to order for him at this time. I know he's willing to cooperate. He said he would, but I guess if we get that far into it and he's been gone 6 months, that's another ground for termination anyway. But I just would rather not order it today. But
Well, of course, as of September 1st, in 9-10 days, the O ground goes away anyway. So, I mean, I can still make the service plan in order of the court because we obviously, it's how parents can demonstrate mitigation of the reasons for removal, but it just isn't an independent ground of termination,
yeah.
And obviously this case isn't going to go to trial before September 1st. So it will be governed under the new law. So, if he's unable to complete services, it's not, it could be a factor towards other grounds, but it's not going to be one on its own. So,
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was going to be from the date of filing or the date of trial on that. I didn't know that.
it's everything as of September 1st, pending case, new cases, it's everything.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. Thank you.
So, yeah. So it's, as of today, I will give the standard admonishment, but that will evaporate very shortly. Anything else, Mr. Morales?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, I got to visit with Kalea in person on Friday. She was still in the harness at that time, but was doing great and still moving around a whole lot even through that harness. We had full anticipation that was going to come off in the visit. I mean, in the doctor's appointment earlier this week. So I'm glad to hear that that was the case. She seems to be doing really well. I think I was slightly confused about mom's visits. I had it in my head that they were mostly virtual, some in person, but I could be wrong on that. But the reports that I have heard is that the visits are going well. So I was glad to hear that. And Kalea has shown herself to be very resilient and has healed well.
I think my recollection was we did virtual one week and in person the next week, and we were alternating those.
I
Yes,
think
Judge, that's correct.
Okay.
So from my perspective, in terms of increasing visits, you know, as long as everything is supervised, I'm okay with that, but there may be a transportation issue. She is here in region, but not in Amarillo. You know, as long as mom can get to where she needs to be for the visit.
Can I speak on that, please?
Yeah, let her finish, Ms. Olivas, and then
Okay, I'm sorry.
it's okay. Go
So,
ahead, Ms.
so as long as mom can get to the visit, I am okay with that as long as everything's still supervised.
Okay. All right, Ms. Olivas, what's your transportation situation?
I had talked to the foster parent and Jennifer, the supervisor, and I had told them both that if I had to go to Panhandle once a week for that visitation, I'm willing to do that. That's fine. So transportation isn't an issue. I know the last in-person visit, we did it in the library in Panhandle, and I was okay with that. So I do have good transportation to get to her visitations,
Okay,
our visitations.
all right. Mr.
That's it.
Koval, then, can we, and you know, Ms. Olivas, you know, gas money, all of that, you feel like you could do that once a week? Or would you want to do
Yes.
like a 2-hour visit one week and then do like an hour virtual the next, and then, or are you really?
No, the gas isn't a problem. I have a lot of support if I really do need. So gas is not a problem. I'm okay with it.
Okay, all right. All right, so Mr. Koval, can we arrange with placement to increase the visits to a 2-hour visit since she's gonna be driving that distance?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right then. And so we can eliminate the virtual visit
Yes, Judge.
and just do the in-person. Okay,
So Judge, just for clarification, will that be 2 hours a week?
yes,
Okay.
2 hours, 2 hours once a week.
Okay,
I mean, we obviously are gonna have to arrange and schedule with placement and, you know, work all those details out. I mean, the extra hour might change when they can do it, so I just don't know, but obviously Mr. Koval will look into that, Ms. Olivas, and he'll let you know.
Judge, can I speak once more?
Sure.
So when I did talk to foster mom, she said that she would ask her daycare where she's at if we can do visits there, supervised visitations there. So I'm not sure on how that is, but that was something that was said.
Okay, Mr. Koval, who has been supervising?
St. Francis Visitation Supervisor Jennifer Bryan.
Okay, so that may be the issue. I don't know whether that worker would go to daycare. I mean, I don't know what all daycare, you know, is agreeable to do and who they're willing to come in, and, you know, I don't know. I think that's just, Ms. Williams, that's gonna just take some checking into. So I
Yes,
think,
ma'am, I
I'm
understand.
not saying no, I just can't say yes on behalf of the daycare. And you know, there's a part of the purpose of having a St. Francis person present at your visits is to be able to report back, hey, visits are going really well, mom has a bond, you know, or mom struggles with feedings, or, I mean, I'm not saying that you do. I'm giving you an example. So, for a while, I still think we're gonna want a St. Francis individual there. It may be we get to the point where, you know, and again, I can't speak for them, but it might be that we get to a point where placement is even willing to do that. Sometimes
Okay.
foster parents are, you know, some are not. And, you know, I respect either decision that they make, but you're already in communication with them. You're talking with them directly, which is great. You know, so it may be that that'll work out at some point in time, but for the immediate time frame, I still think we want a St. Francis person there just so that they can report back to me.
Well, my understanding was that one of the St. Francis, Jennifer, would be there, even though it was at the daycare, that she would still be there.
Okay, I just don't know those details, so I'm gonna kick that can to Mr. Koval to just to make sure everybody's on board with that and everybody's okay with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And I had one more question.
Uh-huh.
And my boys, so will they, I know since everybody's here, it's just a question that I have. Will my boys be able to attend those visits with me as well?
Again, I guess that's up to, if they're gonna be at daycare, I guess it would be up to them. I don't have a problem with that. Did somebody have an issue with the other kids being present?
No, it was just that the harness was on, which is an understanding. I did
Yeah.
understand that. But now that it's off, I just want to know, like, it's okay.
I
believe, Judge, they did tell her she could not bring the boys because of the harness.
and
But
I
Judge,
understand that.
Judge, we did say that once the harness was off, that the boys could attend.
Okay.
We don't have an issue with that.
Okay, thank
So
you.
again, Ms. Olivas, I think if it's gonna be at the daycare, I think we just need to make sure they're okay with the other kids being there. You know, I mean, as a licensed daycare facility, I mean, they got certain responsibilities to the other children that are there and for
Yes, ma'am, I
supervising
understand.
those children. So we gotta be sure that they're okay with it. That's all.
Yes, ma'am, I understand. Thank you.
Okay. All right then. So, Ms. Olivas, let me just talk to you about the service plan. You've heard me mention already that we have a change in the law that's coming up September 1st. As of today, the law is that failure to work your services could result in termination of your parental rights. That is a grounds all by itself for this court or a jury to decide to terminate your rights. The law is changing September 1st, so I think that that's not going to be applicable in your case. But don't take that as, okay, all of a sudden your service plan isn't important, because that is just not a true statement at all. Your service plan is the best way you can demonstrate to everybody that you have learned some things, you know, you have developed maybe a support system that you need or a greater support system that you need. You know, the father is, you know, obviously in a situation right now where, you know, he's not going to be able to contribute. And so, you know, all of those services are designed to make you a stronger, better parent. And so it's still important to me, and I think to everybody involved in this, that you work through those things and try to gain some knowledge and some, you know, tools to help you moving forward. Okay. So while it's no longer going to be a grounds for termination of your rights if you don't work those services, those are the fact that you don't work services can be introduced as evidence that you haven't made any significant changes in your life. Okay. So they're still important. And, you know, those could be used to limit your parental rights or duties. You know, it all can come in as evidence. So I just want to make sure you have a clear understanding of that.
Yes, Judge, I've started all the services that I can except the parenting. I was supposed to start that Tuesday, at least one class I wanted to get before I came to court, but I wasn't able to due to work. But next week, I have counseling Monday, Tuesday, I have the parenting class, and so on. So I have completed mostly all my I have started mostly of all my services.
Okay, you're off to a good start. So, I mean, I'm not
Thank you.
suggesting that we're headed that way. It's still very important that I'm, make sure you understand that those things are important to the case.
Yes, ma'am. I think they've actually helped me a lot during this situation. So
Okay,
thank you.
I have one other question that came up at our last hearing, and Jerry, you may not have had any opportunity to talk to him, but about paternity.
No, Judge, I have not had the opportunity, but I will talk to him now. I know he's in Eden County.
Okay. Is he in an actual ICE detention facility in Eden, Mr. Koval, or is he in a county jail?
I'm not clear on that. I'm simply going on the information from his significant other, that he was sent to Eden, Texas, and was in custody there on an immigration hold. But whether the law enforcement facility is the local county jail, I can't answer.
Okay. All right. Maybe she knows or has a way of, a contact number or something.
I'll reach out to her.
Yeah. Okay.
In past cases, I believe that the Eden facility was a separate non-county facility.
Federal. It's a federal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my understanding. I know they have a federal facility there. I'd be surprised if he was in the county, but that's where I'll start first, in the federal facility.
Okay. All right. Okay, then, I've admonished mom regarding service plans. I'm gonna make a finding that there would be a continuing danger to return the child home at this time. Continue the department as temporary managing conservator, and I will continue the child's current placement. And I will see everybody back for our initial permanency hearing on December 16th of 2025. That'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. All right, I appreciate everybody. Them, in the interest of Josiah Martinez, we're here today set for our final. Okay, so I did see Ms. Lucero, the email regarding the location of your client. But you can go ahead for the record and state the basis for your request to extend in the case.
Your Honor, when we were here back in, I believe it was towards the end of June, I can't remember the exact date. Well, no, June 3rd, around June 3rd. Mr. Navarrete was in the Potter County Jail. It was his understanding and my understanding that he was going to be released to parole from the Potter County Jail. However, he was transferred to a halfway house in El Paso. I tried to get contact information, things like that from him. Call the parole offices. It took me a while. I finally was able to talk to the parole office here in Amarillo, talk to the parole office, 2 different parole offices in El Paso. They advised me, gave me the number for the halfway house that they had on their records, so I could reach out to him. However, when I called there, they advised me that they can't give me any information of whether he's there or not. If he was just in a regular TDCJ unit, that's different. But I guess with the halfway houses, I mean, they said that I could send him a letter. So once I got that information, I sent him a letter. But I know that he wants to be here, but that's my basis, Your Honor.
They can neither confirm nor deny.
Yeah, well, and I will say this, Your Honor, I mean, if he wasn't in a halfway house, the parole office would know that. And if he was, let's say, on the run or something, then they would tell me that, that he wasn't there. So the parole office will tell me, but the halfway house will not verify.
Yeah. Okay.
And Judge, the department is opposed, and if the court would allow, and I'd like to call Mr. Koval to get some testimony in regards to the opposition.
Okay. Then Mr. Koval, if you'll raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you'll give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay. All right. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Koval, please state your name.
Tim Koval.
And how are you currently employed?
I'm employed with St. Francis Ministries as a permanency specialist.
Okay, and are you familiar with the case involving the child, I think it was Josiah Martinez?
Josiah, yes,
Josiah, let me write that down. Okay, and you have heard the request for an extension today, is that correct?
yes,
Okay, and are you familiar with the father Raimundo Navarrete?
I am.
Okay, did you meet with him just about monthly while he was in at Potter County Detention Center?
Yes, I did.
When was he released from the Potter County Detention Center?
He was released on June 7th of this year.
Now, as previously stated, there was a hearing on June 3rd, is that correct?
Yes,
And at that time, was it confirmed that Mr. Navarrete had your contact information?
yes.
Okay. Have you heard anything from Mr. Navarrete since he was released from the Potter County Detention Center?
I have not.
Okay. Have you attempted to reach Mr. Navarrete since he was released from the Potter County Detention Center?
Yes, I have.
What attempts have you made to locate Mr. Navarrete?
I called the local parole office and was not able to get information about how to contact him from them. I reached out to his mother, we had had communications with in the past. We had started to do a home study on her in the past during this case. And I've left voicemails and not received any reply from her.
Now, when you reached out to the parole office, did you find out that Mr. Navarrete is not on parole?
Well, what they told me is we don't have him, and they would not give me any information about whether he was on parole through some other city or anything like that. But the understanding I had from the person I spoke with was that he had been released from jail, and I interpreted that as he was not on parole anymore.
Okay. And in your opinion, are there circumstances that warrant an extension in this case?
I don't believe so.
Okay. And are you asking the court to move forward with the final hearing today?
Yes.
Okay. I have no further questions for Mr. Koval.
Okay, Ms. Barfield, do you have any questions?
I do not, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Lucero?
Your Honor, I do. Mr. Koval, at the time that the child was removed in this case, my client was in the Potter County Jail. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so he was the non-offending parent, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And had you, when you spoke with his mother, did she advise you that he was in a halfway house in El Paso?
Well, I didn't speak to her. You did, from my understanding.
Okay, okay.
She's not responded to me.
Hasn't responded to you. Okay. And the child is currently with family. Isn't that correct?
Yes, maternal family.
Maternal family. Okay. So is she safe where she's at?
She is.
Okay. And there are no plans at this time to move her from there. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So she's in a stable home as of right now?
Yes.
Now, do you know, you stated that you believe you believe that Raimundo is off parole now. I mean, that's the assumption that you got from your, I guess, talking to parole here in Amarillo?
Yes, they did not give any indication that he had been transferred and was still on parole through another office.
Okay. And so were you aware of what his sentence was for the charge out of Potter County?
I believe it was evading.
Okay. And were you aware that he received 2 years TDC time?
Yes.
Okay. And so if he pled out in January of 2025, his 2 years would not be up till January of 27, correct?
I'm not familiar enough with that to be able to answer that.
Okay. But as far as you know, he hasn't been incarcerated for 2 years, right?
I just know from previous legal staffings with Mr. Trout that I believe Mr. Trout had given the indication that he was about to be finished with his sentence, is what we believed.
Okay. All right, Your Honor, I don't have any questions for Mr. Koval, but I would like to clear up the sentencing if I could.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, Mr. Navarrete was incarcerated in March of 2024. He pled out in January of 2025 to 2 years. Even with one year of credit, he would still have another year on parole. And I understand it's really difficult to, to reach out to CJ or the system to try to get information. But again, I'm being open with the court today. According to the parole office in El Paso, he is at a halfway house in El Paso.
Mr. Cole, have you had any contact with them in El Paso?
No, yesterday in an email, Ms. Lucero indicated that she had some phone numbers that she had gotten from down there. And I've asked her to provide me with those phone numbers. I haven't been able to get in touch with anyone in El Paso.
Does the TDCJ website give us any help?
It does not. TDCJ does not provide information for persons, I don't want to use the word inmates, persons who are on parole. It only provides information for those who are currently incarcerated.
Yeah. Okay.
And Your Honor, I can verify that. He was given a TDCJ number, so I tried to hunt him down by that number, and I wasn't able to find anything. But I mean, when you're on parole, they still give you a TDCJ number because you have to parole out, so.
But we think he was actually released on the 7th and then probably had to, let's just say he's in El Paso, then he had to report.
Yes.
He didn't go straight from jail. So there was some interim of time, then he was supposed to, or theoretically he reported and then went to El
It's my
Paso.
understanding that he was given a bus ticket to El Paso, Your Honor, and then he was at, again, if he was not in their care, it's my understanding that the El Paso parole office would have told me that.
Does paternal grandmother have any way of reaching him?
Your Honor, I did reach out to her, and she said she has not at that point, she said that he didn't have a phone privileges to call out. So, but I have not spoken to her in a couple of weeks, so I don't know.
Okay. Ms. Zavala, do you have any questions for Mr. Koval?
I have no questions, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Powell, any further questions from Mr. Koval?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, y'all give me just a second. Okay. All right, I'm obviously trying to weigh the interests of justice here. I'm going to go ahead and find extraordinary circumstances exist in that, he's been incarcerated and unable to work services. We don't have an exact handle on his situation, but I don't know why they would have indicated to Ms. Lucero that, he's on parole there if he wasn't. So what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and grant the 6-month extension in the event that she's able to make contact with him and that he can make some genuine effort to try to work services. Child is with family. So I'm going to set an early final on it though. So we're going to reset it for December 16th. And that we're going to do that at 1:30. My dilemma was whether or not to call and recess, but the problem there is if he does then really step up and really start working his services, I can't once I've called it, then I can't extend, and we've got to get back in 90 days. So, in fairness to a non-offending parent who has obviously had an inability to even do very much, then I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt here and give him the time. You know, come December 16th, you know, Ms. Lucero, you know how the game works. I mean, if he's really gotten on board and gotten going on things, you know, we can always push the final out past that. So, since it does sound like he is on parole and, you know, had a mandate to be in El Paso at a certain time, you know, we haven't brought him in. I mean, you know, we had no way of making that arrangement. So, you know, since it is a final and termination is being sought, I think we've got to err with caution towards the parent. So, anyway, I think let's just go ahead and have a review hearing since we're all here. Make sure we stay in compliance with that. And then I'll see everybody back for the final on December 16th. Okay. Mr. Koval, I guess you would be the one to give us an update on
And
how
Judge,
child's doing and
Judge, quickly before Mr. Koval enters he gives the update. The dismissal date on this is the 25th, and so we'll get an extension order drafted and sent over, and we'll just need it signed before Monday.
we'll sign it as soon as we get it.
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate it. All right, Mr. Koval, you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, Josiah is placed with family on the maternal side, an aunt and uncle since April, and she is doing extremely well. She celebrated a birthday since the last hearing, turned 1 at the end of June. She started to walk, and she's healthy and thriving and on track developmentally. And the kinship relative placement is pursuing getting licensed, and they are making progress there.
Judge, I just sent a chat. Can my investigators go?
I don't have any problem with it. Anybody have any objection?
Objection.
No objection.
No objection.
All right, free to go. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Judge.
Okay. So Mr. Koval, just to be clear, we've had no progress with the mother.
No progress at all. In fact, I have not spoken to her since she sat down with me and signed her family plan very early in this case. I've reached out to her by email, by phone through her mother. I've gone by the house. I have not had any contact, unfortunately.
All right, and anything else to report with respect to Mr. Navarrete other than what we've already covered?
I would just ask if Ms. Lucero could please provide me with those phone numbers in El Paso so that I could make some attempts myself to try to locate him. That would be helpful.
Okay, I'm sure she'll be happy to do that.
Yes, I will.
Okay, then, anybody have any other questions for Mr. Koval?
No, Your Honor.
No questions.
No, Your
All
Honor.
right, to anything else, Mr. Barfield, with respect to review?
No, I have nothing else, Your Honor, at this time.
Okay, Ms. Lucero, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you. And I will get that information, Mr. Koval.
Okay. All right, Ms. Zavala.
Your Honor, I'll just repeat what Tim has already covered. Josiah's doing great. Family's working on licensing. I've got no concerns about that placement and recommend that continue.
Okay, I'm also gonna ask everybody if, Ms. Lucero, if you make contact with him, if you would let everybody know, because at that point it might be appropriate. You know, I mean, it's a mandatory go to mediation order, but I would be happy to get a mediator appointed to you all. It might be appropriate. I don't know.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll do that. And I'm hopeful that now that he's been at that halfway house for, for a bit, that it might be possible even him to work services while he's at that halfway house in El Paso. So I'll be in touch with everyone.
Okay. All right, I appreciate it. So like I said before, we'll see you back on the 16th, but until then, I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I will continue the child's current placement, find a continuing danger to return the child to either parent at this time. As stated earlier, find extraordinary circumstances and grant the extension in the case, but we will set that early final and see where we're at. Okay, I appreciate y'all. I'm sorry everybody's all dressed up and know where to go, but it's the way these things are, so. Okay, thank y'all very much, and then I'll see some of you back at 1 o'clock.
That's in person, isn't it?
It is in person.
Okay.
All right, thank y'all.